Hey there, I hope everybody is well. My name's Kristen. We're going to be sharing some divine messages today. Let's call in our angels, saints, ancestors, and spirit guides into our space for divine messages, for our highest and greatest good. We are surrounded in divine white light, and so it is. So it will be. All right. Let's see what our message is today. Ooh, I saw that. That's the second time. It's the end of an era as we know it. Things are closing out, okay? And new things are beginning. It's like that death and rebirth. So there's some major cycles playing out here. It's also about being in tune with the cycles, okay? Specifically your own, right? Where are you in your life cycle? What have you, let's do an inventory. What have you learned? What do you still need to learn? Maybe there's a need to get some insight on that. Maybe going within for that guidance, okay? And also, what are you meant to experience here? Maybe there's a need to kind of tap in if you're unclear so that you're no longer, so that you have the clarity. I mean, look at this, the Hangman in reverse. So it's almost like an enlightenment, okay? We're talking about enlightenment. We're talking about free-spirited. We're talking about no longer feeling like you're not seeing something for its entirety. I'm getting with the Hangman in reverse, this could be a bit of release, understanding, clarity, seeing something from a new perspective even. Okay. I'm also getting, when I see this, I look at as above, so below. Right? That's what I'm getting. As above, so below. 10 of Pentacles. This is like having support. All right. This is talking about your enlightenment has changed the trajectory of your life and maybe those that you are connected to forever. I have the Lovers here, so I'm getting there's something that there's something here that, there's divine guidance here. There's choices. There's the ability to connect with the all. I see the power of 3 here. This is like the creator, the father, and the mother. It's like returning back to original blueprint. It's like reset. It's like a reset. Okay? It's like a cycle reset. So maybe there's a closing, right? There's closure here. And then I have something that's on the other side, which would be something newly being created, co-creation here. All right, so this is like the feminine and the masculine in union with oneself and God. That's the Lovers. I also have twin energy here. So take that if that resonates for you. If you feel like you're on a twin flame journey here, it doesn't have to be, so don't make it fit. I'm getting with this 10 of Pentacles though. It's almost like freeing oneself from the matrix, right? And maybe the patterns of those that have come before you. It's almost like a form of integration, right? Like receiving a download and being activated and being able to tap into the multiple frequencies here when it comes to those who you have, had in your family. So this could be like family dynamics, family patterns, Closing out those karmic loops as well when it comes to your family generational line. I feel like you have emerged. Okay, there's this awakening that I'm getting from this. It's like awakening to the truth. Okay, and as a result, being able to ascend off this wheel of fortune. All right, which is fate and destiny here. I'm getting like whatever you're here. This could also be like prophecy. I'm getting a bit of prophecy. Okay, something playing out here that is much greater than yourself in your physical experience. Okay. I'm gonna move these so you guys can see them home. The Magician. Manifesting a new reality, as above, so below. It's like co-creating with the universe. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge that's been learned through many incarnations, and you can tap into this wisdom and knowledge here. These can also, the Ten of Pentacles can represent like those that have had an earthly experience here that you're able to connect with. So this could be ancestral. And some of us, this could bring you all the way back to like your soul's origin here, not just your physical reality. So let's not think too small. This is a big message. There's a lot of hidden things in plain sight. Okay, a lot of things hidden in plain sight. And it's like you've got to be open, you've got to be awakened to connect the dots. And I'm getting like you may have done that. I'm getting you did do that. You were able to connect the dots. It's like putting all the puzzle pieces together and completing the puzzle. All right, because everything is hidden in plain sight. So there's a need to do like a deeper dive when it comes to the Hangman. Because there's hidden motives, there's hidden messages, there's hidden meaning in things. So you have to look like in between, right? There's two sides to the sword. This is the truth. Maybe you have awakened to your divine truth. All right, there's some sort of clarity here that's been gained. There's wisdom here. There's knowledge here. All right, let's talk about this Magician a little bit. What are we trying to say? You have access to create with the universe. Strength. There's this understanding that like that you have the ability to create. This is creator energy. This is manifesting energy. This is alchemy. All right. This is having the ability to apply what you've learned using these resources. And these resources could be represented in many different ways. All right. A cup symbolizes so many different things. And a lot of it is like how you look at it. So maybe you've been working on understanding the true meaning of things, maybe not what is at face value. So oftentimes that can be a challenge. It also can be lonely. I feel like your experience here is one that requires courage and strength and forgiveness. Forgiveness of oneself is helping you to release, okay? So that you can create, right? You're not meant to hold on to all of this that you've experienced. You're not meant to hold on to everything that's happened in, you know, those that have come before you here. It's meant to learn from and apply for the sake of progress. I feel like because of what you've experienced, you have great compassion, and there's this integration playing out, right? It's like knowing when to take action and when not to, when to sit back, rest, and observe, and kind of temper oneself when it comes to what's going on in the physical reality. Usually a lion is very, it's hard to tame a lion, right? They're very fierce, they're very predatorial even. So whatever you've done in your process here, you've learned to like tame your inner beast. Wow. Hierophant, 6 of Cups. And then the Ace of Pentacles. With this Hierophant here and the 6 of Cups, I feel like you've been learning a lot of spiritual lessons. You could have been through some sort of spiritual initiation here with the Hierophant. The Hierophant also talks about higher education. It talks about what our beliefs are, our foundations. Maybe there is a need to evaluate this for yourself and see how it really resonates with you. Maybe you're no longer aligning with the beliefs that you grew up with and had to kind of like develop and create some sort of foundation for yourself when it comes to what you believe and what you don't believe. I feel like your belief systems are really strong. Okay. You could be called to some sort of like higher service here. Maybe even like spiritual teaching of some kind, or working with those who operate from a place of compassion and forgiveness. You could be entering in some sort of like commitment here. This would be something that is like a very high level partnership, commitment. The 6 of Cups represents like I'm getting like children of God. All right, you could represent that collective, that consciousness. You could be aligning with a soul that you've had prior experience with, but not in this reality. I'm getting like this is almost like a soul imprint, a memory, some sort of tie here. There's like a soul contract here. Very high level soul contract. In fact, again, representing the Lovers, the 6 of Cups. So I am getting past life energy. I am getting like a strong relationship here. One that is grounded and rooted in divine love. All right, this is something that is aligned with your purpose. Okay. But in order to reach this, there was many lessons to learn. And as a result of you learning these lessons, the Hierophant, maybe you're able to share them in some way. So it's like sharing through testimony, I'm getting. You can't ignore this Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck and the Ace of Wands. Look at these two. Pretty powerful messages here just with this on the bottom of the deck. 8 of Cups, Hermit. Yeah. There's definitely creation here. And I'm getting like, it could be like new earth energy. All right. A new way to exist here. And applying what we've learned. Maybe from a higher consciousness. This is like grounding higher consciousness. With the Hierophant here. Okay. What else you got for us? This is awesome. Don't mind me while I geek out over my cards. I am so, this is, this is such an amazing experience that I get to have. So thank you for watching, because I receive so much joy by being able to connect with you and the Ascended Masters and our divine consciousness, higher consciousness here, and my ancestors and my spirit guides, because they don't play about me, and they don't play about you either. All right, otherwise you wouldn't be catching my readings. All right, so it's a privilege. Okay, it's a privilege. Page of Cups. All right, there is something that is very sweet. Okay, I feel like you may have been one who had abilities this whole time, and maybe through childhood there was a lot that happened that created some sort of like separation, some inner childhood wounding. As you can see in the cup, there's like this little child. And maybe in order to find balance, okay, there's a need to kind of, maybe you've been working on healing this inner child. I feel like that might have been a gateway for you, okay, to unlock and awaken to your abilities, your gifts, why you're here, your purpose, higher consciousness, to do things different than maybe how they've been done before. But you wouldn't be able to do that unless there was this pattern, this process, these steps taken in order for you to follow. It's kind of like footprints. Goodness gracious. High Priestess went flying. High Priestess and the Hierophant. Okay, High Priestess and the Hierophant. I'm getting like initiation here. You may have been through quite a, like the veil, like being able to see through the veil. Okay, understanding the secret mysteries of life. I was touching into the fact that like there's this hidden wisdom and knowledge that has been unlocked. Okay, but there was an initiation. You could resonate with being an initiate, and this is you having access to that hidden wisdom and knowledge, right? Like almost being hidden in plain sight, as well as things being hidden in plain sight, right? You could look at the symbology and be like, oh, okay, that's a pretty decoration. It looks like a drum. This is a scroll, and that's a pomegranate. But like, and then we're seeing the columns, the black and white, and then we're seeing a veil, and we're seeing the moon, and she's kind of cloaked. All right. And so her feet are planted on the ground. She's not, so this is ground. This is also representing like very down to earth, okay, as well. There's no like, I don't know what the word is, but what I'm getting from this is that there's this higher wisdom and knowledge here that you're tapping into, and it was experienced by you. So it's something that you can speak on from a place of experience, not just, you know, verbatim from someone else's mouth. I'm getting like, this was applied, this was integrated, this was practiced. This is like being on that path, okay, of enlightenment, and being able to see the in-between, the unseen, the hidden. It's like only the seeker shall find, right? But if you're not looking, you're not going to find it. Again, there's messages, there's meaning, there's hidden meanings, right? So like, what does the pomegranate mean? What does the scroll mean? What do the columns mean in this card? Like all of those things have meaning. And so being an initiate or going through a spiritual awakening and ascension process has been something that you kind of had to put all the puzzle pieces together, okay, for the sake of understanding. Ooh, Empress. Hello. There's a beautiful process unfolding here for you. Queen of Cups and the Empress and the Three of Cups. There's a sense of community here. There's a sense of celebration here because there's like this graduation. There's this like you did it energy. You could be tapping into the mother. You could be tapping into the goddess, the triple goddess. Even the fates, if you know what the fates are. So when it comes to this high priestess, it talks about the keeper of secrets, sacred knowledge, and divine wisdom. The pillars, one dark and one light, the pillars indicate duality. But the high priestess is in between both. So she doesn't have to choose between the two. This represents understanding and accepting a situation without having to choose which side you're on. And then we see the moon in the background, and that talks about the unconscious as well as Earth's cycles. Okay, also represented by the Wheel of Fortune here in this spread. There's a veil, if you can see the thin veil, a separation between the conscious and the unconscious. The scroll represents knowledge and wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. Okay, so I was getting a lot of like, there's been like a lot of handoffs, okay, or books on the shelf that one can access at any point in time. You just have to seek it and you shall find. And then I also have the round disc, which represents the seed of life and is interpreted by sacred geometry. Okay, it is the blueprint of divine creation. The disc represents potential. And then the pomegranate alludes to the myth of Persephone. And in that story, the pomegranate is a metaphor for nature's growth, dormancy, regrowth cycle. So the death and rebirth cycle. And it also represents the secret and hidden mysteries of life. I also know the pomegranate to be prosperity. Yeah. That's cool. So it's like using and trusting your intuition and your instincts, as well as inherently knowing without needing to rationally understand. Knowing without having to take action, all right? Look, very, very stable, secure in the mid position, right? And then there's understanding the potential of something and allowing it to develop naturally. So it's like not rushing something because there's a natural cycle playing out. All right. Very good. So with this Three of Cups, I would say this is like the power of three. All right. It also can represent like family, community, celebration, enjoying like life's memories, because water holds memories. This can also represent consciousness. And again, I was getting like the triple goddess, okay, or the fates. There's something that is really coming together here. Look at this King of Wands. It's like soon it will be time to, like, what's that phrase? Go time. Look at the Tower. There's that like process. Look at, you trying to get me the Empress? Look at, yeah, it's like the old version of you, okay? There could be something that, what's this? I'm trying to look at what's down here. What's going on here? If you can see my deck. The Fool card, okay, which is followed by, behind it is Judgment. All right, and then we have the World card here. All right. And then we have this King of Wands over here. So I feel like there's a sense of accomplishment here. There's a sense of moving on to the next level here. I have the Fool, so this talks about certainly taking a leap of faith. And then I have a King of Wands here. So we'll get into that in a minute. I'm just going to put that down while we talk about the Tower and this Empress energy. I'm definitely getting like emergence. I'm getting the past versions of you. Okay, the past versions of you have come to pass. And as a result of them coming to pass, there's this massive emergence. There's this divine feminine energy here, abundance, okay, attraction, co-creating, okay. The Empress usually is birthing something new. So this could represent something old and something new. Again, there could be a bit of like really stepping into creating in your reality from a place of, I'm getting like co-creation here. There's prosperity here. There's all working towards a common goal here. All right. I feel like, you know, we've got the rabbit. We've got all this beautiful abundance. Okay. And it's like you can create anything with these things. What are you going to do with it? Like, what are you going to create here? Right? And I'm getting like what used to be will no longer be. So there is a need to create from a place that maybe you are tapping into. Okay, maybe this is again creating from the blueprint. Maybe you represent the codes. Okay, maybe you're part of this blueprint. Okay. Again, there's like this hidden wisdom, this hidden knowledge. There's a cycle playing out. All right. And there is something ending, so something new can emerge. There's a rise here. It's like old, like false foundations. Okay. The suppression of the feminine even. Okay, so there could be a heavy rise of the feminine here when I'm getting this, okay? So you could be connecting to this consciousness, okay? Higher consciousness, all right? You might be able to tap into this and be able to create from it. And this is something that, you know, through your life's work experiences, you've gained access. Now you're applying what you've learned here, and you're here to co-create. God protects the Empress, the divine feminine. It's like you hold this really amazing vibration about you. And sometimes it can be a bit isolating, I'm getting. But I'm getting like you're never alone. Okay, I'm getting the Empress is never alone. There is something amazing playing out here. I feel like there's this free spirit, okay? And I am getting that, like, the end here, this tower that we're seeing here represents a downfall, cause for change, okay? It's like a need to do things differently than how we've done them because we have higher wisdom and knowledge. And you very well could be someone who applies this in the physical realm, but you have access to tap into wisdom and knowledge from those that have come before. So there's this access. I keep picking up on access. Okay, so it's like transcendence. And I have integration here as well with the World card. What else do you want to share about this? What's next? What do they need to know? What do I need to know? The Emperor. Yeah, there's, look at this, the Hanged Man and the Emperor. Emperor for me is talking about divine masculine, obviously. That's kind of like a no-brainer, but again, this is also about integration, oneness, okay? Oneness. Like, you can't have one without the other. Like, it's like another half of the other, right? It's like these two are complete when together and in alignment with God, the creator. All right, so I am getting like they're in parallel, that's not the right word. They're in diagonal of each other, okay? And they're also one right after another. The Fool represents the divine masculine and the divine feminine and their creation here in the physical realm, okay? So there could be something that you're meant to create, and it's being represented as the Fool. All right, so this represents like new experiences or things. It represents innocence, carefree, spontaneous energy, and a beginning. Page of Wands. What are you going to create in this new reality? You could receive some sort of news, or this could represent some sort of creative endeavor. I feel like there's action, new places, adventure, new path, or a newfound interest. So it's like you have this beautiful blank canvas. What are you going to create? I feel like this is representing that process. Something new is being created. And I feel like the two of you have something to create. Co-create. Here's the Star. Okay. I feel like it's something through inspiration. I feel like it's divine inspiration here. It has something to do with like healing the past for release. So again, like, so something new can be created. It also could be like the two of you are healers. Okay, you could resonate with being like a star seed, earth angel. Dolphins are very significant. So is like illumination, okay, in the spirit world. I feel like whatever you're creating, you're tapping into the spiritual world, okay, and maybe bringing this forward. It's like access. I keep getting access. Access granted. All right, so you may have worked very hard to process what you came here to process, and as a result of you completing that, you have access granted. So this is strong, positive energy, serenity and faith energy. There's something that you're creating that is going to be helping others to go within for the guidance instead of looking outside of themselves, okay? That could be in many different ways. This is you giving back. This is you being spiritually and emotionally nourished, and maybe showing others, teaching others through some sort of art, passion, or purpose on how to do this. You may come from a line of creatives in some way, shape, or form. I feel like there's generosity here. There's also a legacy here that you're meant to create. You could be the one that has unlocked, okay? 10 of Cups is clarifying the Lovers. All right, so this is happiness and fulfillment. It's almost like you're going to show people how to create their own heaven on earth and how to co-create with God. Okay, there's no middlemen in between here. There's no buildings. There's no other energies in between. It's literally a direct relationship with the divine, with God, whatever your beliefs are. Ten of Cups talks about a happy family, okay? Being emotionally fulfilled here, being able to, have that direct connection with the divine. I mean, they're looking up at the angel here, like, hello, how are you? Like, how are things? So this also can represent like being welcomed into a family unit. It also represents strong love bonds, emotional support. The cat and the dog show that the people have welcomed them into the family. This represents inclusion and belonging. Okay. Positive energy, warmth and joy, the comfort at home, an environment of love, support, and encouragement, emotional balance and security, and having strong family ties. Like, this is like beautiful, like a dream come true. All right. I don't feel like this is very far off. I feel like this is this next chapter of your life. Wheel of Fortune. May your family be blessed with mutual kindness, patience, and support for one another. And may the love of family be with you all the days of your life. I feel like we've definitely been distracted, right, along our path. And there's been a lot of confusion. I see this Two of Cups. It's like not falling for the illusions of your earthly experience and releasing anything that could potentially cause some sort of illusion, right? Like maybe you've experienced things that you thought were for you, but found out that you may have been focusing on the potential of something, or fake promises even. Maybe you've dealt with some difficult family dynamics. Maybe codependency was something that you've healed from. Like suppressing emotions or feeling like you don't fit in, right? It's kind of like, trying to see which one is right for you and which one isn't. So you may have had to do a bit of trial and error here. Yeah, and then we have the Eight of Cups. So whatever you've experienced thus far has taught you so much that the wisdom you take with you, but you leave what doesn't serve you behind. And understanding that it all served a purpose here. And as a result, because this is clarifying the Magician here, you had to really leave it behind in order to be able to create new, because these would have affected you in a way that wasn't for your highest and greatest good. And so you were guided to leave these past relationships and experiences behind because you learned what you needed to learn. And so in order to experience and learn something new, which is this Magician energy, all right, you needed to part ways. So you could be in the process of parting ways, or you already have. It could be something that's continuous. There's a bit of soul searching here when it comes to this. And it's like, you know what's possible. So you're not settling for less. And if it's not in your present reality now, you will create it. This is you manifesting and creating something. And I'm getting like there is difficulty with others when you leave their life. And maybe there's a lack of understanding as to why. And so that might have been or is very difficult for you to process. And maybe even for them to process. You're definitely leaving things behind. I feel like it all served its purpose though. Like I feel like you're making and taking an action. This is like inspired action to go in a different direction, okay? It's like ready to go energy. Justice in reverse. You might have felt like there was a lot of wrongdoing. You may have felt like things were unfair and unjust in your experiences here. And as a result, you had to walk away and maybe not see that justice has been served for your benefit. I feel like regardless of the injustices that you have experienced here, you did not react and you did not act out of revenge. You mastered and tamed your inner beast and you surrendered it to the divine. You did not take justice into your own hands. Something learned and gained here. Then we have the Chariot. You're moving forward on a new path and you have surrendered justice to the divine. Right? The Devil. I'm getting this is a bit of willpower here, right? Learning and applying what you're here to learn. I feel like there's something regarding your purpose as it relates to this energy, the shadow, your ego. Let's see. I feel like there's discipline and drive here and persevering regardless of whether something was just or not, because there's like a higher cause here that you have. There's a bit of like needing to overcome the earthly realm and to tap into, again, balanced energy here with the light and the dark. You've integrated your own shadow, therefore you don't see this as a challenge. All right? You may have had a past life with somebody and there might have been influences here. And as a result of that, you're back in this life to right the wrongs. Look at the Death card and the Empress. Ascension. Transformation. What's going on here? Look at my cards be talking. King of Wands, Seven of Swords. I feel like this talks about the injustices and our karmic agreements and contracts. There might have been one that you needed to move on from because it went south. It's like this shepherd has abandoned its own flock, and as a result of that, find themselves stabbing themselves in the back while trying to win at all costs and to run away from their responsibilities. And I'm getting it could be a King of Wands. Someone who leads with passion and ego. That could be what someone might have succumbed to. Or this is something that you have persevered through as an experience. This could be masculine or feminine. I got cards flying everywhere. What's this? Someone didn't want you to move on from them. Knight of Swords. Somebody has something to say. I feel like this very much could be upright. There's something that you're doing that helps people free themselves from their burdens, their fears, their anxieties, their self-limiting beliefs, to move towards calmer waters. It's like a sense of community. It's a sense of support. It comes from the heart space. You're being moved on to calmer waters, and not everybody can come with you. So you're having to maybe leave energy behind and move on. You've been asked to transform and ascend, right? I feel people feel you leaving them behind, and they're wanting to prevent this in some way, shape, or form. It could be someone who's a bit of a bully, someone who's blunt, someone who potentially takes rash action. This could be as it relates to what they believe in versus what you believe in. I'm getting like they could be restricted by their own beliefs, their own thoughts. Thoughts create your own reality, so I feel like their thoughts have created their own reality. And as a result, they're afflicted from their own choices in life. I feel like you've overcome this. You've persevered over this. You have left this behind because it no longer serves you, and you've been divinely guided to walk away. This could be at work. This could be work related. This could be relationship. This could be your earthly experience and those that you've had contracts with that may be coming to a close. This is like realizing that you're an infinite being of light. And there's a new version of you here, right? It's like you having access. Look at this beautiful energy. It's so cool. Like endings, bringing in new beginnings, and going from the unknown to the known with the High Priestess. It's like you've unlocked the wisdom and knowledge to access what may be unknown, but is known to you. Access granted. Again. And as a result of this access granted, you're moving on, okay? You're moving on to a Swords in the Tower. And then here's the Fool. And that Knight of Swords. That could be you or an outside influence. I'm getting it's an outside influence. Two of Swords. I feel like there's a decision. I feel like this is a free will choice, right? But you have to take the blindfold off, right? It's like it's almost like you know before it happens. So you have this inner knowing, okay? You have this ability to connect. You have this ability to, again, like the High Priestess, is in between, right? The left and the right, representing duality, okay? Seeing things from both sides, but yet still being neutral. Not having to control a situation, but to understand. To have clarity, even though it may be unseen. So there's something that you access when it relates to like your wisdom, your knowledge, information, your knowing, that is going to be guiding you on a new path, a new beginning here. You may not see this yet, but it's coming. It's like you know what is happening before it happens. And as a result, you know what action to take and what action not to take. And if you're meant to just be like neutral, okay? I'm getting like neutral energy. and not having to make a choice right now. There's also this like, let things play out naturally, all right? And then it will be time for something new to be created. So it's kind of like there's a process here playing out, and it's like you being open to receive the guidance here while this all plays out, right? If you choose one or the other, your free will choice, then it could change an outcome. So you're being asked to stay neutral at this time and observe. And I'm also getting like with this Two of Swords, there's this sense of protection. There's this sense of alignment. There's this sense of like, you know, very like in the clouds, right? Higher consciousness. It's like tapping into higher consciousness here and being able to receive, but not having to decide or act until it's time. A Knight of Cups in the reverse. You left behind energy that wasn't willing to change. Didn't see folly in their old ways. There's also energy here, okay, that I'm getting you have blocked. They're going through their own downfall at this time with this Knight of Cups. There's also no love lost here, okay? I'm also getting that. Somebody might want to come in and try to interfere, okay? Kind of block, kind of gaslight, love bomb, but it's not this Emperor. It is someone that you've already dealt with, that you already know, okay? It's like you already know, and therefore there's no contact. They're still in the same energy. There's been no healing with the Cups in reverse. They're emotionally unavailable to you. Remember how I was like, there's outside influences here? I feel like that's one of them. All right. Yeah, 8 of Swords. You have released yourself from these burdens and any kind of thoughts that bring you back to the past. I feel like you don't have good memories of this experience with this person. I feel like what they wanted for you, they now find themselves in. And again, this is something that they manifested and created for themselves. Maybe to try to benefit in some way. You're protected. They're being exposed here. 8 of Swords in the reverse. Like their own traps, their own mental instability here. Someone is emotionally and mentally unstable. All right. And you are protected from this energy. Hermit. Like I said, you're being guided. You are a guide. The guide who is guiding and guided, all right? I feel like there's spiritual wisdom that you carry and you're meant to hold the light for others on the path, the spiritual path, the enlightenment path with the star, all right? This is something that you're destined for with the Wheel of Fortune. They can't come with you. But in some way, you're guiding them anyway. It's almost like your light irritates them and plants a seed at the same time. There's like illumination here. Almost like undeniable. Something is very undeniable now. And I'm getting it's like your spiritual awareness and understanding and how you keep to oneself and are not engaging. This is you continuing to move forward in your solidarity, in your sovereignty. You very much could be providing spiritual guidance to others, okay? You're meant to hold the light here, but you're not meant to heal those who don't want to do the work. And so as a light worker, you got to keep it moving, okay? And I'm saying light worker because I have the star and the hermit. All right, so this is for the light workers. I'm talking about maybe a King of Cups, someone who represents water in their chart or has a heavy presence of water. I feel like they chose lust over love, all right? And as a result, may have put you in some sort of complicated situation that they now find themselves in. And as a result, you know, they need to figure it out for themselves. Four of Cups. Yeah, they find themselves in a position of love lost. All right, we have a King of Pentacles here. There's that like triangulation, right? It's like you were the blessing, you were the gift, and they didn't appreciate it when they had it, so they no longer have it. Maybe they thought that if they went elsewhere that they would be more prosperous, more abundant, more like people would look at them a certain way, maybe see them in a different kind of light. Maybe wealth was really important. I feel like they chose wealth over love. And as a result, you very much could be blessed with something that you are deserving of, right? Maybe you're the one now praying for the blessing. I do have the Ten of Cups, which talks about like acceptance into a family dynamic, right? Supported and loved and cared for, okay? Last thing, we have a Six of Wands. Temperance. Divine intervention. All right, balance being restored on a spiritual level. And you are being seen as victorious, even though you experienced injustice. I feel like specifically as to how you handled yourself and the situation with grace, honor, and respect. You're highly respected and honored. Okay? You have the support. There's the World card. You have overcome, persevered, beautiful, integrated even. This is a successful completion for you. All right, successful journey. This is fulfillment and reaching a level of expertise. So again, you're being very celebrated in the spiritual realm. And in the physical realm, I feel like you're starting to have a lot of support and you're in alignment, okay? Beautiful. Knight of Wands. Someone is heavily influenced, okay? Let's see what we get here. What's this influence here with the devil there? Yeah, I feel like, you know, maybe someone's lustful ways, okay, didn't quite get them the outcome that they desired, okay? I feel like there's been a lot that's happened, maybe that they're experiencing now. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of feeling loss and despair. And it very well could be affecting someone's mental abilities. This also represents feeling unwell maybe even praying, wanting to reconcile, wanting to rest. I'm getting someone's lustful ways have made them sick, unwell in some way, shape, or form. The Four of Swords, the Devil, and the Knight of Wands. And I have the Ace of Swords on the flip side. Interesting. And then I have the Five of Cups. Yeah. I feel like what's coming to light, what's coming to awareness is that someone did a whole lot behind the scenes from a place of ego, temptation, lust. Could have been preying on your downfall here. Could have been having lustful exchanges for the sake of your downfall. And this very well could be someone feeling unwell as a result. And there could be a transition here that happens. There's a bit of embarrassment and shame here that could be unbearable and a potential catalyst. Let's see. Ace of Swords. I feel like there's exposure here. There's truth. There's clarity. So whatever was done in the dark is coming to the light. I feel like there might have been something that was done that you would consider bittersweet. All right. But nonetheless, you see the truth now. Here's this Two of Cups. I feel like there's a realization now about who you truly are. Look at this timer. 12, 22. 222 you might be seeing quite often. So that would be the angel number for this reading, 222. I have 2 right here. 2. The Six of Swords. You could be going in a new direction, maybe keeping something to yourself when it comes to new connections. I am getting that you very well could have been a soulmate to this energy, and as a result, there's a bit of like feeling of missing out. I feel like they're very confused. They could have been stuck in a fantasy or an illusion when it comes to this. I feel like with these cards flying out over here, I have the Seven of Wands and the Sun. So I feel like you're very divinely protected here from this energy. Okay. Page of Swords. I feel like they're allowed to watch, but not touch. All right. This is beautiful energy here with the Sun and the Seven of Wands. I feel like, you know, you have strong boundaries and you stand your ground and you're very well equipped. Okay, so maybe, I'm also getting whatever weapon formed against you did not prosper, because who they're truly coming up against is God. And God protects you and your new beginning because you are the divine feminine or the divine masculine. Take it how it might resonate for you. Or both. They're realizing that they juggled the wrong one. Okay? And they are experiencing the law of cause and effect here in their own existence. You may be someone who talks about that. You might be someone that mentioned that to them, and maybe they thought that they had just cause to come after you. All right? I feel like they're learning a very difficult lesson now, because everything that they wanted for you is returning back through the law of cause and effect. Yeah. Wow. 8 of Wands, 7 of Cups, Five of Cups and the Moon. There could be a bit of I'm getting like there was a lot done, okay, under darkness from a place of ego, okay? But I feel like there was a lot of psychic attacks, okay? Spell work even. They very much could be succumbing to this if they were part of this. And that, my friend, is cause and effect here playing out. Duality, right? Your beliefs make manifest. They're learning. They are learning this firsthand. They're learning like their own beliefs, their own actions, their own ill will wishes are coming back to them. They're learning the cause and effect, the universal law of cause and effect. Look at the Ten of Swords. This is causing a devastating end for them in some way, right? I feel like, however, there's a bright side to this. There is a bright side to this. There is a silver lining to this, right? They could be betrayed by those who they worked with, okay? And maybe partied with and had some sort of fantasy lifestyle. I feel like there's something that's coming to the light that may be the catalyst for their own transformation here. I feel like their wounds, 9-9 here, their wounds, okay, their patterns are catching up to them. Okay, the Five of Swords, okay, talks about betrayal, deception, lying, defaming, backstabbing, trying to win at all costs. There's dark attachments here as well. All right, so this is coming full circle, and it could be playing out for someone who, you know, might let their wounding justify their actions, but I'm getting that's no excuse, right? Like they tried to sacrifice you, and as a result have sacrificed themselves. And this is divine intervention here. You're being seen as somebody who has grown from the experience and applied your experience to do something greater than what you've suffered from. It's like turning your suffering into some sort of growth and development to the point of emergence, harmony, peace, balance, reciprocity. All right, there's something that is amazing here. This is union. This talks about celebration. This talks about reaching a major milestone. And I feel like, again, this is like confirmation that, you know, your experiences are for you, okay? And you have a choice in how you operate here in your experiences. Are you going to continue to repeat the same things over and over again and expect a different outcome? Because I feel like there's been many chances. There's been many lessons here. There's been many conflicts here. All right. So I'm getting like someone went in a different direction, and it's being seen in the environment as something that, hey, wow. Like it's a wow. It's like, how did they do that? How did they figure that out? How did they not succumb to what I wanted for them? How are they able to get themselves out of this situation that I find myself in? I feel like someone projected a whole lot, right? Thinking that it would affect your outcome, but what it ended up doing is wounding them in the process. They're in this energy of loss and despair now. And they're going to have to watch you succeed and celebrate your best life. Okay? And you are deserving. You understand your value and worth. You're very independent, stable, secure. I feel like you have a high ranking. Okay? 9 of Pentacles. I feel like you've picked up, where they left off. I'm getting like with this, so it's kind of like you have a legacy to fulfill here, and I feel like you're very much on your way. You could resonate with being someone who transmutes and alchemizes energy. You could be going in a different direction and celebrating with someone who is in the same kind of energy, right? So this would be like a mirrored soul here that you're connecting with. All right, so everything that you've been working on has led you to your highest and greatest good. And I feel like everybody has that potential, but they have to want to put the work in. And you may have had to deal with someone who wanted to ride on the coattails and not do the work. And so you had to go this alone, and you did. And you should be really freaking proud of yourself. 111 on the timer. All right, so this is you being in your purpose and connecting to divine assistance. All right. I feel like their actions have led them to difficulty, burdens. They've burdened themselves by trying to burden you. They thought that they were cloaked in the darkness, but you illuminated them. I feel like they were nothing but energy vampires. It's like they needed your light to survive and function. And once you figured that out, you were able to leave them where you found them. And so they had to go and feed off others, and they needed to deceive because they couldn't let everybody know about their own wounding and fears and anxiety and how that is what drives them. They sacrifice others for the sake of their own personal gain. I feel like what's happened here is that they've sacrificed themselves instead. This King of Swords could be them. All right, someone who, has a lot to say. Someone who may present themselves as a know-it-all. I feel like they're about to learn the hard way. So whatever spell work they've done, I feel like it's returning to sender. And unfortunately, that very much could be a catalyst for their awakening. Well, give me some final thoughts here. Three of Swords, King of Wands. Yeah, they find themselves in this situation that they put you in, which was to be triangulated with somebody else, to be betrayed, to be heartbroken, to feel like love hurts. They know love to be painful. They have sacrificed someone in their life that truly loved and cared for them, and they have broken their own heart as a result of trying and possibly breaking yours. 12:33 on my timer, so that's 333. Yeah, look at, they're in despair. They're not sure that they can mend their broken heart, especially when it comes to you. They don't think that there's a way back in. I feel like there's illusion here. They're stuck in an illusion. Distressed in anxiety and fear because their attempts to be this high and mighty masculine energy, feminine energy, right? The King of Wands is like, leading by passion. I feel like someone's ego got the best of them and they lost what was really, really important to them and they can't get it back. And this creates anxiety and fear for them. So they're operating and creating from a place of fear. Okay. Three of Wands. This is making plans for the future. There could be, like, you're waiting for your ships to come in. There could be action that you will need to take, and you're making plans so far, or they could be. Who's making these plans? What's this about? What's this Three of Wands? This is also like putting things behind you. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. Focusing on your projects, making plans. Yep, here comes an offer. And it's an offer of divine love. Unconditional love here. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. I feel like your endeavors are going to pay off. All right, you've operated from a place of love. And I feel like this is attracting a divine partner here. One that you're meant to create with. I feel like they see you as very stable, secure, like you have it together. Okay, and what you're creating here is aligned with your self-mastery. We go from the 7 to the 8. So right now you might be working alone, but soon something's coming in where you're going to be working together. It's going to build. There's a lot of growth and potential here. All right, and I feel like you hold it down so you could resonate as being like someone who is very resourceful. Okay, like Mother Earth has lots of resources, so do you. I feel like, you know, they may have, there may have been some sort of like, I don't know, competition. Someone may have tried to put you in competition to feed their own ego, but all they did was triangulate you in a dynamic that did not bear any fruit, only pain, suffering, and loss. And as a result, you moved on. You're focusing on what you're here to focus on. You're only accepting something from new energy, and that's rooted in divine love. You are very stable, secure, all on your own. And what you create from a place of love. There is no competition. The only one you compete with is yourself, so that you can be better than you were yesterday. And I have Temperance. So you are a divine being here having a physical experience. And what you're here to create is peace, harmony, and balance. And I feel like whatever imbalances they wanted for you, you've been able to alchemize and create something beautiful with. You are this humanitarian. You are somebody who's very loving, psychic, empathic, loving, motherly energy. Okay, so you harmonize. You're natural. This is something you do naturally. It's part of your existence here is to naturally harmonize and to alchemize and to do things from a place of love and compassion and forgiveness. You've moved on from the situation. You have some sort of collaboration or mentorship coming in. I feel like this is going to release you from holding on to the past or any kind of resistance or lack. All right, and help you step into your spiritual power here in the physical reality. You are meant to help others on the path. Whatever you're doing is wise investments, and your wishes and dreams are coming true, and you are divinely protected and loved. Okay, I have all four, I have all four aces here in our reading. I have you're divinely protected and loved. You have the ability to connect with the divine and God directly. You could be grounding something that you have access to. Again, access granted. And you might be creating something that hasn't been experienced here before. Or maybe you're bringing something back that once was. And in order to do that, you need access. So I feel like you're not playing it small, and you're not creating anything small. This is some really big picture thinking. All right, so continue to connect. Maybe take note of what you receive and what you know to be true for you and what's in alignment for you. I feel like this is representing like infinite potential. Queen of Swords, all right? I feel like you could be telling on somebody or they're telling on themselves and you're just kind of like, all right, I know what's up, okay? You see this coming a mile away, all right? Continue to focus on what you're encouraged to work on, okay? And leave the dusties behind in the dust, okay? They have a lot to learn, okay? I feel like you're focused on the bigger picture here, all right? You've unlocked some amazing energy here, and your connection to God is on point. And don't deny what you know is your truth. You have a passionate new beginning, and you have a beautiful blessing coming in. And so the past only wants to benefit without putting in the effort. This is a solo situation for you right now. Focus on what you're guided to focus on and leave the rest to God. All right. So 1:21:21 on my timer. I will be stopping here. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I want to bid above and beyond, but sometimes that's what we're called to do, right? To go above and beyond. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have the most amazing day, and I will see you on the next reading. Okay. And best wishes to you all. Bye now.